Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to finish our tutorial by putting in some numbers and finish off our table. So let's enter our categoric variables, types of ball. So let's start off with foam ball, press enter, and let's move on to our tennis ball, marble. I'm going to go for silly putty, and lastly we're going to go for our basketball. Doesn't really matter at the moment. Now I'm going to put in some dummy data. So with a foam ball, I'm going to say, excuse me, it went up to 67 centimeters, 68, 67, 68, and the last one was 70. Do the same with the tennis ball. Might have gone a bit higher, 75, 76, 78, another one at 78, and we'll say another one at 74. Marble, not very high, 25. We're assuming we dropped it from a meter here. 24, 25, 24. I'm going to do 25 again. Silly putty bounces pretty high. Let's say it's 80, 81, 78, 79, 81. And then the last one, we're going to say basketball. Pretty much the same as the foam ball because it's made of the same stuff. 68, 68, 67, 68, and we're going to say 69. Now, the issue here is how do we work out the average or the mean? Now, we could do it on a calculator, but an easier way of doing it is let Excel do the heavy lifting for us. Now, the way that you do work out any sort of formula in Excel is we start off with an equal sign. And then what do we want? We want the average. So I'm going to start typing the word average. And you can see here Excel gives us a choice of different things to choose from. Average A, average if S. We want the top one here. That's the simplest one that we can use. So I'm going to double click on that. And underneath here it's asking us, well, what do we want the average of? Well, we want the average of test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, and test 5. So I'm going to click and drag through test 1 to test 5, and I'm going to press enter. And it has worked out the mean for us. Easy as. But we want to work out the mean for tennis, marble, silly putty, and basketball. So we could enter in the average again, but an easier way of doing this is, rather like we did with the bounce height where we merged the cells, then we're going to, if you look down on the cell that I've highlighted, you can see a little black box. If I hover over that, then the cursor turns from a white cross, as it is at the moment, to a black cross. Once it turns into a black cross, click and hold and drag down and let go. And it has worked out the mean for us. Now the mean at the moment is to 1 decimal place, but we can solve that quite easily by taking it up to the nearest whole number. If we go up to these two buttons here, one is increase, one is decrease decimal. We want to decrease the decimal. So we're going to decrease it to no decimal places. Now we just had to fiddle with that a little bit going up and down. And the last thing we want to do is to work out the percentage efficiency. Now the percentage efficiency in this case is going to be, if you remember, the results that you've got from test 1 to test 5 divided by wherever you bounced it from. In this case it's going to be 1 meter, which is 100 centimeters. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to again press the equal sign to let Excel know that we're starting off a formula. Well, which one do we want? We want test 1 to start off with because that's our column that we're using at the moment. So I'm going to click in that one. The symbol for the divide is the forward slash, so I'm going to enter a forward slash and we want to divide it by 100. Now don't worry about the fact that it's a decimal fraction at the moment. Again, hover over, white to black cross, click and drag down, and it has worked out all the decimal fractions. I'm going to click and drag across, and it's clever enough to work out the other ones as well. Now while that is all highlighted, you will notice up at the top on the ribbon here it says general. So that is just either text or numbers Excel doesn't really care, but we want percentages because it says here percentage efficiency. So I'm going to hover over this button here, percent style, click on that, and you can see that they have all changed to percentages. Last thing we want to do, work out the mean, same as the mean for the bounce height, equals, start typing in the word average, double click on the word average, go over to test 1, drag over to test 5 and press enter. Again, it's clever enough to realize that it is an average percentage and white to black cross, click and drag down, and there we are, our table is complete.